you out like sheep among wolves. Therefore, be as shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves. Hello, everyone. I'm Monica Dennington, and welcome to our series on End Times Discernment, How to Walk in the Light. Tonight, we're going to talk about principle number 5, which is don't go looking for the devil. We've got to succeed where the first Eve failed. We've got to be smarter than the snake so that we can keep our innocence. And that's what Jesus is talking about. You know, it's kind of a difficult thing to do, to be as shrewd as a snake, but also to be as innocent as doves. So we're going to look to the scriptures to find out how to have that balance. There is a difference between exposing evil and glorifying evil. There are a lot of people out there that they really believe that their job in the end times is to dig up all of Satan's secrets and expose them to the world. They're going to expose evil, right? The New World Order, for example, the Illuminati, theories about how the Antichrist is coming into power and who is a part of that Antichrist system, really trying to dig up those deep secrets and put them out into the light in order to expose that evil. Not only the Antichrist, but talking about the false prophets, people who think that it's their job to be the watchman and to look out there and tell all of the Christians who the good teachers are and who the bad teachers are, and, to dig up the sin or the mistakes of the false prophets and to really focus on doing that. And if you've read these things and if you've looked at these news stories and these articles and these websites, you understand that though they can be very interesting, after you kind of start to fill your mind with these things, you start to get a little discouraged. You start to get disillusioned, and there are some negative things that can happen to your mind when you fill your mind with all this evil that's being exposed. So what is the difference between exposing darkness and glorifying it? Well, we're going to find that balance in Ephesians 5:8-13. It says, "For you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Live as children of light, for the fruit of the light consists in all goodness, righteousness, and truth. And find out what pleases the Lord. Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. It is shameful even to mention what the disobedient do in secret. But everything exposed by the light becomes visible, and everything that is illuminated becomes a light." Now I want you to think about that. Everything that is illuminated by light becomes a light. So if you live in the light, you are not only able to see for yourself, but you also become a reflection of that light. So understand that if we live our lives in the light, and that's what it's saying, that we are to have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness. So it's talking about taking authority over darkness and sin in your own life. When sin comes to your door, you take authority over it, as the scriptures say, that if you submit to God and then you resist the devil, that the devil will have to flee from you. That is what happens with light and darkness. Darkness can't be in the presence of light. The light drives it away, right? And so that's what this verse is calling us to do. And it's interesting because it goes on to say that we should have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. And then it tells you what that means and how it happens. It says, it's shameful even to mention what the disobedient do in secret. I want to stop there. Right there, it tells you that exposing evil does not mean that you're going to go and find out what the disobedient, whether it's Christians or the Antichrist or whoever, are doing in the darkness and then exposing them. That is not what this passage is talking about when it says exposing evil. This is how it happens. It says, but everything exposed by the light becomes visible, and everything that is illuminated becomes a light. If you will simply decide that in your life, you're not going to have anything to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, you become a light because you become illuminated by the light of God and the fruit of that light, which is righteousness and goodness. You're going to naturally become a light, and darkness is naturally going to flee from you, and anything that dares to come into that light is going to show itself for what it really is. That doesn't mean you're supposed to go and mention the shameful things that the disobedient do in secret. God doesn't want you to go digging up Satan's secrets and then expose them to innocent people. Okay, that's not pointing to the light. That's pointing people to the darkness. If you talk about Jesus and you talk about the things that Jesus said and you speak Jesus' words, then people are going to be thinking about Jesus. They're going to be looking to Jesus. They're going to be listening to what he said, and his words are going to be a light for them. Jesus is the light of the world. So Their focus is going to be on the light, and they're going to be able to see. But if you lift up the New World Order or the Illuminati or the false prophets or all the bad things that are happening politically in your country or in the world, and if you spend your time glorifying those things, you are taking innocent people and you are filling their eyes not with the light, but what is darkness and what is sin and what is not God. You will not learn who God is by simply learning who God is not. You will learn who God is by looking into the face of Jesus Christ. As it says in Revelation 2:24-25, Jesus, the glorified Christ, is speaking. And he says, "But to the rest of you in Thyatira, all who do not hold to Jezebel's teaching, who have not learned the so-called deep secrets of Satan, to you I say, I do not put any additional burden on you. However, hold on to what you have until I come." Turn Satan back at the door. Submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee. Send him back to his hole where he belongs. But don't follow him into the darkness and try to dig up his lair and expose all the bones and the defiled things that he has in there. You are going to become defiled. You're going to be surrounded and defiled by those evil, dead things. And you're going to be lured off into the darkness yourself. And before you know what's happened, you're looking around and you don't know where the light is because you've filled your eyes with darkness. And that's what we keep talking about in Matthew 6:22-23, where it says the eye is the lamp of the body. If then your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is diseased, then your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light in you is darkness, how great is that darkness? So don't go looking for the devil. Okay, understand what you need to be looking for is Christ. And you're going to find Christ in the Bible, in the perfect law that gives liberty. As it says in James 1:22-25, do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. Anyone who listens to the word but does not do what it says is like someone who looks at his face in a mirror and after looking at himself goes away and immediately forgets what he looks like. But whoever looks intently into the perfect law that gives freedom and continues in it, not forgetting what they have heard, but doing it, they will be blessed in what they do. You are going to be a reflection of whatever it is you are looking at. If you are gazing into the perfect law that brings liberty, if you are gazing into the perfection that is Christ, it's going to be like a mirror. Now, if you ignore his words and you don't put them into practice, then you're like someone who looks in the mirror and then you walk away and forget that you have something gross on your face that you need to, take care of, or that your hair is messed up. But if you keep looking into this, if you keep looking at the image of Christ that is reflected in the pages of the scriptures, then you're going to see that you are an image of God. That it's a mirror. You're going to see yourself in there. And you're also going to see that there are differences between what you are and what Christ is. And as you continue to gaze into that, you're going to be inspired to change the things that are wrong with your reflection. The more that you see his beauty, the more you want to be like him, as is your destiny. In order to reflect that glory, you have to be focused on the light of Jesus Christ and his words and who he is, which you will find in the Bible. As it says in 2 Corinthians 3:18, and we all, with unveiled faces, reflecting the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another, which is from the Lord, who is the Spirit. One decision for obedience at a time, you are going to become a little more like him every day, and you're going to be a clearer reflection of him as you are transformed into his image. Then you will be a city on a hill. As Jesus said, you will be that light that God's not going to put under a bushel. He's not going to hide it, but he'll be able to lift you up for everyone to see. And you will be able to not only see your way clearly, but you'll be able to be a beacon in the night for many people in the end times. So look to the light. Focus on the face of Christ. And until I see you next time, remember, read your Bible and do what it says.